Welcome back, Premier League, to our loving arms. Yes, the international break was unusually stirring. Peak international football, pure and uncut, just how we like it. The heightened emotion of Ireland clinching playoff football walked. Oh, so that Scotland, earning their first World Cup qualification in 27 long years, could fly. And I think we were all the better for it. A night that made it incredibly dangerous to be a can of tenants in and around the vicinity of Glasgow. But I sit here on the road in San Jose, California, eager to welcome Premier League football back into our loving heart. And if the gods ever bestow gifts upon us this weekend, almost too much plenty. The North London Derby, 198th edition of these bad boys. I'm from the north of England. I have no horse in this race, but I look at this game and I have to say, hats off, I admire just the local petty bitterness that absolutely is soaked into this regional rumble. Pumpkining Liverpool, hoping to prove themselves to themselves once again. Oh my lord, if it isn't the sound of the grinding teeth of Sean Dyche and Nottingham Forest, City look to ratchet up the title race by doing Newcastle and Everton thankfully make me wait until Monday when they play Manchester United and I get to meet my old friend Shattered Hope once again. So let's preview it all with the spirit of Nigeria manager Eric Chelle explaining why he lost his temper while going down against Congo.
During all the penalty decision, a guy of Congo did some voodoo.
Yes, that is how football works, and I really believe it. Tactics be damned. Before we get into it all, I want to give my thanks to Bank of America, the official bank of US Soccer and the FIFA World Cup 2026. Bring that on for supporting the Men in Blazers Media Network. Discover what's possible in sports and in life. What would you like the power to do? I would like the power to take your questions. Let's do the forbidden dance and dive in.
Hey Raj, this is Mike from Boston. First time, long time. Big Spurs fan. Arsenal, their defense is finally starting to show some cracks. I'm wondering, is this the time we actually finally take back North London?
Mike in Boston. Oh, I love that town. And we will be there December 6th live at the Roadrunner with Clint Dempsey, Rory Smith, Sam Lewis, and some massive guests for the day after the World Cup draw. We'll break it all down. December 6th. Come and be with us. Tickets all over our website. New website, and also across our socials. Cannot wait to raise a pint with you there. But what a question though. Arsenal, leading Arsenal, take on perpetually bewildered Spurs. 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Spurs at Arsenal in the modern period. And I say this as an Everton fan. Eternal hope, eternal disappointment for Tottenham Hotspur. This one is fantastically poised though. We do not know. What a time to be alive, because number one, Arsenal looked human for the first time, held at Sunderland. Brian Bobby, late and true.
Hume's ball in. Ballon is there to flick on, and it's flicked in. Graham Broby for Sunderland. Oh my word!
That goal, stunning, snapped Arsenal's proud, really indomitable run of 10 straight wins. And I loved Mikel Arteta right afterwards describing the medical condition with great complexity that he suffered post-game.
A pain in my tummy because I don't want to concede any goals, and it was a goal obviously that it was putting the game in a difficult position.
I'm not a doctor, but I can diagnose that, Mikel. You got some soccer tummy. It's the worst, take it from me. But Spurs, can they now further dent that impregnability of the Arsenal backline? I mean, we've got to kind of cobble together the evidence. There's still such kind of scant Thomas Frank Tottenham body of work, and a lot of it is so inconsistent. It is perplexing. I will say, Thomas Frank's Brentford always relished going to the Emirates. They love that rumble. And his curious Spurs, they have the best away record in the league. They are a different creature. They truly come alive on the road. They are undefeated, as they showed in sitting deep and living on the counter to beat Manchester City 2-0 in the Etihad earlier in this season. But Spurs themselves are so inconsistent. They've won just twice in their last 7 games. I'm old enough to remember their last game where beautiful Rich Arler had ripped off his shirt against Manchester United in the 91st minute. And learnt one of the hardest life lessons there is. Never take your shirt off too early.
Up got the heads on, it's in! Matthias De Ligt scores! Manchester United have found themselves a way back into the game. His third ever Manchester United goal, and it's an equaliser with 30 seconds of stoppage time to go. Spurs 2, Manchester United 2, Matthias De Ligt.
Arsenal, though, yes, league leaders, but they can hear the Pep Guardiola hooves pounding behind them, the sabre rattling of Manchester City creeping down just 4 points behind. This is a massive week for Arsenal. They play Tottenham midweek. It's only Harry Kane's Bayern. And then Chelsea next weekend. They have this incredible squad depth, but it is going to be tested. They have injury blight. Victor Gyökeres is amongst many attackers grappling with fitness challenges, but the biggest loss, almost, I mean, it's a cliche, but it's true, irreplaceable. Gabriel suffered a agonising thigh injury on international duty. He's out for, quote, Mikel Arteta said this morning, weeks, which will hurt, honestly, Arsenal as much in attack as in defence. I think the most fascinating narrative around this game, though, is the one Eberechi Eze. We know his story now. It is utterly beloved. A kid that lived for the Arsenal, who talked about when he was in the youth academy, that was his whole identity. He came on this show and said this.
You go on trial, you're looking at different clubs, getting scouted by different places, going training at different places. So to get scouted by Arsenal, supporting them, Thierry Henry was my guy at the time as well. So, of course, you're young and you don't truly understand what it means to be a professional football player, but the passion and the drive that it gave me at that time, that's what football's about for sure.
When they gave you your first kit as an 8-year-old, did you look at the badge and just be like, nothing can go wrong now, nothing can stop me?
I remember the kit they gave us was the red O2 kit, and it was long sleeve as well. So, like, as a kid, you're wearing, this shirt that Henry was wearing. So it was like, this is the perfect shirt. There's no shirt better than this. It just takes you back to that, man. That's what, it was everything at the time.
It was his whole identity, and then that identity was ripped from him. Kid was cut at the age of 13, and then he had to walk, really run, really skip the long, hard road back to the elite, his own way, singularly. And then transfer window on the cusp of signing for who? Tottenham Hotspur. Only to have Arsenal charge in at the last and gazump them. So his emotions as he plays in this first North London derby, his form, his ability to impact the game in massive moments, it's both tactically and poetically fascinating. I mean, listen to him when he signed.
It's exciting for me. It's where I want to be. It's what I want to be doing. And blessed to be in this position for sure.
And okay, brace yourself, humans. This is Ebbs almost crying when he saw his first Arsenal jersey with his name on it.
Oh my
I mean, if that's how he feels when he sees, a little piece of polyester, how are you going to emote when he sees the Spuds for the first time at the Emirates and North London forever crackles across the stadium? Lights out, Ebbs.
Bounced away, shot comes in, and it's Eze! Eze against his former club with a fine finish.
Before we take the next question, if you want to be featured on our show next week, send us a video with your biggest question about the weekend ahead. Use the link in the description below. If you don't want your beautiful face on YouTube, feel free to call us 646 450 9472. Leave us a voicemail. Next one up.
Hi Raj, Ethan in Minneapolis. I'm a huge Liverpool fan. The inconsistency this season is driving me a bit nuts. I thought those wins against Villa and Madrid were real stepping stones, and then in comes the Norwegian giant and his pals from Manchester. Forest are in town this weekend. Should I get my hopes up that Slot will right this ship?
Big Ethan, Juicy Lucy Land, your Liverpool take on Nottingham Forest Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. I cannot wait. Once more, into the breach, dear friends. And in case you've forgotten, your 8th place Liverpool have lost 7 times in the last 10 games. They've got more Premier League losses than in the entirety of last season already. Last time out, they were utterly flattened by Manchester City. The good news, though, the fixture list is kind, offers respite. I think 7 of the next 10 games are against teams in the bottom half of the table. There is an opportunity for an incline. And while Nottingham Forest are a shadow of the team who shocked the champions at Anfield last season, their only loss at home, the Sean Dyche steady diet of long balls. But like a trip to the proctologist for Arne Slot. Last time we podded, I asked Rory the question of, can you imagine Nottingham Forest being beaten by Liverpool at the weekend. And, well, your fellow Red, he sounded so bedraggled, he could barely imagine victory.
The way Liverpool have played over the last 2 months, I don't think there's any reason to believe that they win any of those games, let alone all of them.
On a slot has confirmed the Premier League defending champions will be without Florian Wirtz and Conor Bradley, who will be a real loss for the visit. And the spotlight is going to be inevitably on Alexander Isak. It is his time to deliver, say the English tabloids. And it has been incredibly strange to see him almost loiter in the shadows and on the bench. Transitions are hard in football and in life. And I do believe, I almost know, there's going to be a moment where Alexander Isak suddenly clicks.
Isak! Welcome to the new world. The new world of Alexander Isak and Liverpool Football Club.
Look, I know this season has been frustrating for you and the millions of Liverpool fans who are in my life. We had a letter in our newsletter this morning. It's really beautiful. From a reader who compared the mourning process externally of Liverpool Football Club after Diogo Jota's death, keeping much of the grief private in the locker room, which I understand. He compared it to that of the Columbus Blue Jackets, who lost the great Johnny Gaudreau. He's a GFOP of some renown, Gil Rutledge, and his letter was really beautiful. He wrote, "For the Blue Jackets, the group spoke openly and often about the loss publicly. The coaches, the players, the beat writers, they went there often. They could hardly avoid the gaping hole in the locker room. The team simply couldn't avoid the pain, nor did they try to." And I thought about that this week when Scotland qualified, in their joy, in their ebullience, in their ecstasy, and Andy Robertson was interviewed on the sideline, and in his moment of wonder, in his moment of achievement, and his moment of just the dream come true for every school kid, he will play in the World Cup. Where did his mind go? It went right to his friend, who's no longer with him.
Today I've been in bits. I know that the age I'm at and everything, this could be my last chance at World Cup. I couldn't get my mate Diogo Jota out of my head today. We spoke so much together about the World Cup. When he missed out in Qatar because of injury, I missed out. But Scotland never went, and we always discussed what it'd be like going to this World Cup, and I know he'll be somewhere smiling over me.
It was fascinating to hear in his press conference on a slot ruminate and reflect on that.
I saw the interview as well live, and I know that it is an issue for us, which is I think completely normal. But then at these moments of time, I always think about how must it feel for his wife and his children, because that's so much harder for them than it is for us. But that we miss the player and the person, that is completely clear.
I think this is really important. This is a glimpse, really, into the grief which grips your Reds behind the scenes. And I just say, may you experience joy again. Though we all know Sean Dyche's going to try and be the Dyche who stole Christmas.
So, it's certainly not my first rodeo.
Okay, next batter up.
Hey Raj, Tyler here from Connecticut, Newcastle fan. City looked terrifying again, and we've been anything but consistent. Is there any way we can shock them this weekend?
Tyler, I've got to say, the American Newcastle fan, that choice is always fascinating to me. I'd love any Newcastle fan listening in the United States. Tell me how you choose the tune. But what a rumble awaits all of you now this weekend. Newcastle welcome Manchester City, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday on NBC. Really, a game filled again with unknowable mystery. This whole show is Spurs, we don't know. Liverpool, we don't understand. Now Newcastle, who have looked like the Newcastle of our modern reincarnated experience, but only in the Champions League, where they are currently 6th. They look so formidable. And in the Premier League, just 2 points off the relegation zone. What? 14th place. And so you're asking really this question: can Newcastle manager Eddie Howe beat Manchester City for the first time in his career? 18 times he's faced Manchester City and he's never ever won. Guess the short answer to that is no. City's resurgence has not really, amongst Liverpool's floundering and Arsenal's pomp, taken the attention that it deserves. They've won 7 of their last 8, and it's been remarkable to watch the fine-tuning game to game, to watch Pep conjure, coax, tweak, empower Erling Haaland, both as an unstoppable goal scorer, a YouTube influencer, but also when you watch him as a true leader of this team now. He's got Reinders, Foden, and now Doku stepping up alongside him to make this really now a one-man team plus.
Such quick feed. Oh, that's outstanding! It's incredible from Jeremy Doku!
But your question is about Newcastle. Your Newcastle, who've almost been overwhelmed by the pace, the power, the demands, the rigour, the exhaustion of Champions League football life. And this is what is so strange, because they are now just 2 points above the relegation zone before this visit of Manchester City to St James's Park. And this is the surreal double life, really, that you live, Tyler. You're Newcastle. Here's the good news. You've won 6 of your past 9 games. All competitions, and the all competitions is doing the heavy lifting there, because the Champions League has been your happy place. 6 in that table. You're also defending Carabao Cup lovers. There's that quarter-final upcoming. So there is joy to be found, but not in the league. That is where your Newcastle look bedraggled, floundering, look flat. Just 3 league victories on the season. 4th lowest goal scorers in the top flight. 4th worst shot conversion rate. I think is it 8.4%. Big chance conversion rate 30%. Not so bueno. So you can tell how much Pep thinks his team are going to win. Remember, the Pepometer is, let's just say, it's never good to be an opponent whom he praises this much before the game.
Top team. I never see the table when we analyze opponents. Top team. I've been one of the toughest players in the last years, and have been a good games. The atmosphere is Champions League team, so they're doing really well. So, but we're ready again for a new challenge.
Pep saying top team is the mark of death. One more question.
Hi Raj, Meredith from Denver, Colorado here. Over Thanksgiving, my boyfriend and I are headed to England for some proper football. My boyfriend supports Fulham, but this year he's taken a liking to Grimsby Town after they beat Manchester United, and that "you've been slapped by a fish" meme went around. On Thanksgiving night, he insists we go to Grimsby to watch them host Tranmere Rovers, a League 2 match between 2 teams I had previously never even heard of. At the exact same time, my beloved Aston Villa is hosting in the Europa League. Being the great girlfriend that I am, I already agreed to go to Grimsby so my boyfriend can indulge his latest obsession. Since I've already agreed to go, my question isn't whether I should go to Grimsby, but instead what compensation am I owed for this deal? Perhaps I can trade this for a future trip to Stamford Bridge or the G-Tech, both of which he absolutely refuses to set foot in. Courage.
Meredith and Denver, first of all, Godspeed on that Thanksgiving adventure of adventures. I will say, most couples I know spend the holiday arguing with their uncle over politics and trying to work out who's going to do the dishes. By the way, I would love to do the dishes and not argue with Ness's uncle. But you and your boyfriend are choosing a different pathway. You got a choice between a Europa night at Villa Park and a windswept lower league standing Grimsby. When you got that choice, you got it good. Let's be candid. This is a very specific kind of romance that I admire, and we at the Men in Blazers Media Network approve of. But before I get to your question, if only you were here this weekend instead. Your boyfriend's beloved Fulham taking on Sunderland, mighty Sunderland, Saturday 10 a.m. Eastern on Peacock. Fulham hovering above the relegation zone, team with so much talent on paper, so little stability, really look flat. Even bloody Everton beat them. And income, Sunderland newly promoted, somehow in the top 4, playing with the swagger of a team who expect the Champions League anthem to start playing every single time they walk out of that tunnel. Only team in 9 games to breach Arsenal's defence twice. And the manager, Régis Lebris, on the touchline, the quiet focus, really a deep intellectual, an academic. I got to speak to him this week. It was really fascinating. We talked about how he took the team really from a championship relegation contender and turned them into a smiting collective fist. How have you transformed 40 new individuals into one singular collective so quickly?
I don't know. The journey started with our first video calls. I explained clearly what was the position expected for the player, and I think if they decided it would be Sunderland at the end, it meant that they understood that this game model, this environment was really positive for them, and the connection started probably from that point.
Oh, I really do admire that man. And for Sunderland, let's just say this is a real test because it's the kind of game serious teams are expected to just go and find a way to win. For Fulham, chance to bounce back, try and get a season that feels like it's floundering, actually dangerous, back on track. But to your question, what should the compensation be? What do you deserve? I say, very simple. You get to choose the next adventure together. Whatever you want. A long trip, a match, watching a football in Argentina would be my suggestion, at a weekend getaway, whatever makes your footballing heart soul. Let us know, because I am fascinated. And if your partner goes, without protest, because once you've stood in Grimsby on Thanksgiving for love, you've earned the lifelong right to end every disagreement with a single word. Grimsby.
Listen to the noise from the Grimsby fans. And off the crossbar! Grimsby have beaten Manchester United in the most dramatic circumstances.
We want to give a huge thanks to Bank of America, the official bank of US Soccer, and FIFA Club World Cup 2026 for supporting the Men in Blazers media network. Discover what's possible in sports and in life. What would you like the power to do? I'd like the power to try and catch my flight in about 40 minutes time, and I'm still in the hotel. By the way, it warms my heart to say we've just launched a brand new Men in Blazers shop with a ton of merch designed for all your favourites. Men in Blazers, the women's game, and Vamos. I actually like that the best. The clothing, the hats, the mugs. Your support allows us to do more across every single pore of our platform. There'll be a ton more going up there. A lot of limited edition collabs coming up with the World Cup charging towards us. Check it all out. Links in the notes. Enjoy. Send me a photo with it on you, because it'll look even better than it does on me. Believe me. This Sunday, November 23rd, tune into the newest episode of the Men in Blazers TV show on Peacock for my conversation with an incredible human being, Everton goalkeeper, England's #1, gent who truly is a singular personality. His mindset I learned a lot from. It's Jordan Pickford. We talked about the mental side of being a goalkeeper. His incredible post-save reactions. He says he does them for him, not for the crowd, and how he hopes his Everton legacy will ultimately be told. Candid on the chaos, clear on the mindset, full of love for Everton and the rave. Give it a watch. Bring a touch of that keeper focus into your weekend. And finally, to take us out, another clip from my interview with the Sunderland guru, really, Reggie Lebris. He talks here about a remarkable human being in his locker room, Granit Xhaka, his leadership, how much he means to the entire club. You can find a full interview in the show notes. It's on YouTube right now. Subscribe there. Have an incredible footballing weekend. Let's not take a second of watching football together for granted. Big, big love. And here's Reggie Lebris.
He started in the restaurant here to sit with the French players from the beginning. So I asked him, why are you always with these players? And he told me they will be really important for the squad this season. So I need to connect with them, to understand them, and probably in his mind to manage them as well. He's really clever, really smart, and his background and the way he managed the team is really impressive.